Good afternoon. My name is Jesse Martinez.
And I am Nicolas Trevino. Welcome to Let's Talk Writing.
Uh, we're just a couple of normal guys right now. We want to be able to do something good for probably for fellow writers who haven't really not so much of an idea or anything like that, but just talk writing.
Yeah, pretty much more than anything, I think a community. A community of writers, like we're trying to reach and create a community of writers because here in our hometown, we desperately need one. So
Yeah, we do.
there's this group that's doing an amazing work, this poetry slam group, and we're just taking from their example and doing our own thing and trying, to collaborate with that. So we're starting this podcast for you, the writer. If you have any doubts or any questions regarding writing, we're more than glad to see if we can answer them through personal experience, not professionals here, but just
Yeah,
putting in our 2 cents.
yeah. We're not really professionals. Like we do have a published author here with Nicholas, and I'm
Thanks.
more of an amateur writer myself. I do want to get stuff published, but at the same time, we want to be able to just help out the community and especially ourselves because we all learn through experience as well. So we want to talk about things involved with writing, where there will be certain episodes where there will be certain topics that are going to be covered. And, if we have people listening, we can also, if they want to pitch in maybe an idea or something, and then we'll go along as the episodes go along when we'll discover more about ourselves and what other topics we can talk about.
Yeah, definitely. That would be excellent. We need our fellow authors to collaborate, and actually, if we could bring more people here, that's good. Like we discussed it a million times, but there wasn't a microphone around. Um, we plan to start it ourselves, and then see if people get motivated enough, and we can build that community. And this is what it's all about, just getting writing. Like I said over and over last time, this is all about just writing, about having that literature group, about having that people connect, that people who don't know how to go about it, people who think up, there's not a community here, there's not a forum. We're trying to create one.
Yeah, especially because I know a lot of people who are fellow writers, fellow friends who, they tell me or we've discussed and we say, you know what, we wish there was some sort of group. We wish, and we have a group on Facebook called the Laredo Writers Quorum. I know there's not much activity on there. We try to do as much activity as we can, but we can only go as far as the rest of our community goes, and that's why it's really hard to try to do something when it comes to writing here on the radio because I think a lot of people, not that we lack the motivation, it's just that we don't have the actual resources to go out there and or we don't know that many people who are out there saying like, hey man, can you help me out? Can we do this? Can you read my script, my manuscript, my book, my chapter, and give me some creative criticism? Especially because not a lot of people can take creative criticism, and I know plenty of people who can't take creative criticism. They take it as that maybe they don't take it personal, but that's what we're trying to focus on. We're trying to help each other create a better community, create something for fellow writers. That way, we're not afraid or we're not shy to put ourselves out there.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, and that is what you said about creative criticism really got to me because to me more than anything personally, like you said, I managed to finish a book, but I feel like it's incomplete in the sense that it never got revised by anybody else. It never got, and I feel that if somebody was to put in their 2 cents, or if somebody was to put in some sort of criticism, I would feel like, oh, now I have to rewrite everything. In my personal case, I wouldn't be egotistic about it and be like, no, no, my book is perfect because it's a flaw in progress, like I call it. And for me, that criticism would be, you have to work on this, you have to work on that, and this and that, and it's something that in whatever sort of ego or whatever sort of mentality that I'm in, I don't want to deal with. But uh, going back to the point, going back to the whole radio, this would serve to kind of, I guess, give pointers as a writer goes along the way, or if somebody has finished something, maybe some pointers so they can be not in your face, like telling you all, so they cannot feel like you're in their face, actually telling them, okay, you need this, you need that. Maybe they can take from these pointers and be like, oh, maybe I can use this, or maybe I should see this and that again. I know that if I would have listened to a podcast about writing, which I try to find, I don't know if there's any out there, maybe I'm not good at looking them, but if I would have listened to a podcast about the certain knickknacks of writing, it would have helped me a lot along the way with the book. It would have helped me and my friend a lot along the way. So, well, here's
And not trying to end it too soon or anything, but as we as our little podcast goes along, we also want to receive creative criticism and constructive criticism. So if you listen to this and you keep joining us for every episode that we're gonna try to put out, because we're just starting this. This is the very first recording for us. I've personally never done this kind of recording, but as we go
you
along,
seem a natural, man.
thank you. But as we go along, we want to be able to go ahead and receive feedback from you, the listener. And like I said, if you have any ideas, any questions you want answered, you can always just ask away. Ask us, hey, what, can you cover this, or do you mind if you answer this question? If you can help me out with this. And even then, like, we might not be the most popular people out there, but we know other fellow writers out there, and at the same time, you can also come around to us and ask us, hey, what, you mind if we get together and we can hang out and discuss writing, and maybe like Nicholas was saying, we can have people over for maybe guest speakers so that they can give out their input. But for us right now, it's just essentially, we're gonna cover topics here. Topics that people generally ask themselves during writing, and we're not professionals at all. We're just two simple writers, one published, one hoping to be published eventually. But we're here to serve the community and to help out people and fellow writers in need.
Actually, well put, well said. If I can add anything else, it will be that, well, we're gonna have fun with this project. I hope us, we know we are, but I hope you as readers also have tons of fun with this. And if you're out there, if you're in the Laredo area, um,
Yeah,
please join us. You
and I
know,
mean it. I hope this podcast actually extends further than Laredo. I hope that people outside of Laredo listen to this. Maybe even people outside of Texas. Hopefully, well, we want to be able to make connections with other people and make connections with fellow writers who feel that they don't have the proper support, or they're too shy to come out and say, hey, well, I want help with this, or because I sometimes need help. I sometimes wish that I had other people help me out, and I mean, at the same time, I like the current motivation, but at the same time, I wish I had somebody else telling me, hey, you know what? Uh, like, I've had other people read my stuff, the short little chapters that I've had, and they've given me criticism. And there's many professors out there as well at LCC who are pretty good creative writing professors, and I've received proper advice from them, and so I hope to follow their advice, and I hope that we can give out advice, as much advice as we can get, we can give out to people. That way, we can help each other out.
yes, well put, well said. Um, I mean, this is about community, but there's no reason to keep it local. Definitely. That's a good point. Maybe I was being a little egotistical.
No.
Let's just do it for Laredo.
We're just two guys doing this. Like, we don't know how far this can go.
Yeah, exactly. And well, we hope it does reach the stars. We want to reach the globe. We want to reach anyone who has that issue, that whole lack of community, that whole lack of support. Like I've been saying a bunch of times, there have been art movements, music movements. The grunge scene started with a bunch of people from this one area, and they all helped each other play gigs, and they all helped each other uh, transcend into what they became, into the icons they became. The same happened to Picasso. The same happened to other exponents in art. They were with a group, but maybe you don't hear much about the other ones. But within the art culture, you do hear about that little group, and that's actually my dream, to make a literary movement. If somebody, and not to mooch off of anyone or anything, but if somebody makes it from this group, if somebody actually manages to expose their work to a bigger audience, maybe we can help each other out, or whoever does, me, Jesse, which I think Jesse will do be first because his stories, his ideas are amazing.
Oh,
But
no.
if we manage to do that, then we want to build a community and get that talent out. That's what talent is for. Sometimes the best minds, the minds that are meant to be more successful, are shunned away by little everyday things, like their parents telling them that it's not a good career option, family and friends.
Significant others as well.
Yeah,
You
significant
know,
others.
as much as people love you, sometimes they'll try to be like, oh, why are you writing? You know, or I mean, I haven't had too much of a bad experience in that sense. You know, I've had my significant others have always been very supportive, but I know of other people who essentially their lives become tedious and they lose that motivation. And like you said, their bright minds just they get obscured.
Snuffed out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They get snuffed out. They get so obscured with, sometimes I feel like the best time to write is at time whenever, you just need to let something out, because sometimes the best ideas come. Like, I'm not saying that, you have to be troubled or anything like that, of course, but sometimes,
No, but there are moments of illumination. Of sometimes that rage, that joy, that sadness helps you. I mean, it's a whole different animal from depression, because that's a whole different thing for another different chapter, maybe.
yeah, of
But
course.
but yeah, what you're describing is pretty much that enlightenment. I've been there. I remember this poem I wrote. I was so angry at a girl about way back when, right?
Well, we've all been there.
And I couldn't sleep. I just had this feeling bottled up inside, and I wrote a poem about it, and I fell asleep. That's it. Like, I just had it bottled inside. I just needed to let that shine out through my writing, and as soon as I did, slept like a baby. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
And any idea is a good idea, no matter what you have bottled, like, in your mind. You have an idea for writing a novel, for writing a play, for writing a movie script, a short story, TV, whichever outlet you want to use out there. Every idea is a good idea. The thing is that we have to find time and the motivation to be actually able to sit down, uh, via whatever form you want, a computer, if you want to if you want to go that far, a typewriter, or paper, pencil. Any idea is a very good idea, and you just have to find motivation and time to put it out there and make sure that your voice is heard, that your ideas are heard. Especially, I mean, look at the ideas that are getting thrown out right now in Hollywood and the TV shows. I mean, I don't know how many Law and Orders and CSIs and so many cop dramas and so many hospital dramas are out there, and it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much. And right now you mentioned a good point. Sources of inspiration, which I think could be a whole chapter on its own.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a good point, because when you start talking about typewriter, and going from the digital to the more primitive, so to speak, I'm pretty sure. Well, no, I'm not pretty sure. I heard it from a friend that supposedly Stephen King was inspired to write this book by pen, by ink. So he
Wow.
wrote it in ink, and then he transposed it. He couldn't have written any other way. Which is funny, because I have a story that I presented on McGacken's class
Oh.
that I wrote in pencil.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. The one he praised me, that was the one that I got the most praise for. The one that started all ambiguous, because I was using too many in-world references, and then he told me
Right.
to expand on it. And well, yeah, the editing process is a whole different animal, another chapter maybe. But um, sources of inspiration that I could only do by hand. That story I want to finish it, but I want to finish it in hand by hand. And those are the things that we want to touch upon. Just you're a writer, stay a writer. Don't let life tell you you're not a writer. Don't let that lack of a salary based on or income based on writing. Don't let the lack of it make you think that it's not for you. Do your day job. Don't be don't be one of those struggling artists. Do your daytime job, but make sure that you never leave it on the back burner. Make sure that you will always have time for it. You always have time for it. Think about the things that are important. That new video game came out. What's more important? You know, that new thing at the movies or whatever. Procrastination, which could be its own topic
Yeah,
by
of course
itself.
it can be.
I'm pretty sure that could be a whole season. But
No
that's what we're trying
procrastinating.
to help with here. That's what we're trying to help people get that morale boost, that spunk to keep writing.
And going back to the whole keeping your day job, that I hope that this eventually becomes my day job, something centered with writing. Like I eventually want to be able to teach creative writing to students. Go from going to high school to college eventually, but that's essentially what I want to be able to do as well. Like teach others, to be able to express yourself, and you can never let anybody tell you no. That's the worst thing ever. If I remember, I forgot there was a quote, something. I think it was Hannibal. I don't remember the actual quote, so no site sources on here. But it's something along the lines of like, if there isn't a way, then I'll make a way myself. And that's the way it
Yep.
should be. Nobody should be able to tell you no because of what you believe in, because of what you want to put out there. Whatever idea you have out there, it might not be for everyone, but you find that little niche, you find that little crowd of people that might be interested in your idea, and you go with it, no matter what. Even if, like, I know I said earlier that everything's the same out there, but even if you have to, sell out, which, whatever the term it might mean to you, but
In this case, allow just means getting a job.
yeah, exactly. As long as it provides steady money for you and you think it's the best idea for you, hey, you do that. You do whatever it takes so that you can keep writing and feeding yourself. And hopefully our little podcast, like I said, will inspire others to come out to us and to wanna be part of this community, because eventually we want to be able to do bigger things here. Want to be able to bring in other writers, and other maybe well-known writers, maybe from the community, maybe from outside of Laredo. you know
Maybe this is the first stepping stone towards that editorial company, a huge publisher company that I
yeah.
want to open here in Laredo.
Yeah, and that would be an amazing idea. We have like this idea that maybe one day, him, me, both of us, whoever wants, we can start a publishing company, an editorial. That way, people can come up to us and be like, hey, you know what? This is gonna be my first book, or whichever book it is, whatever you wanted. Can you help me? Can you help me publish it? Can you help me promote it? And we if it's something that we can help with and
Yeah, definitely.
promote, we'll publish it, and that's what eventually we want to do. We want to be able to be there for people, and we're not trying to be what some people might call it pretentious or anything. We're sick and tired of our community not being able to go out there and speak their minds when it comes to writing, because we love writing. I can't even watch. That's how much I love writing. I can't even watch a movie anymore without having to you know uh, dissect it when it comes to writing. I mean, I'll enjoy it and I'll watch it and I'll take away from it, but that's how much I love writing. And my father always told me, do the job that you want to do the most, the thing that you love. And for the longest time, I told him, like, look, I love you and everything, but being a writer is a starving man job. And that's when I started thinking, he's right. I want to do my job. I have to get something that I love to do, and that's how I want to teach creative writing. because my father gave me that idea. I've had so many ideas to do many other things, and I've had other people try to guide me to a certain area. Say, no, well, you would be able to get this and get that. And not once, I mean, I tried it. I just didn't find the motivation or the passion for it until my father, after he would berate me every day. And even to this day, as much as I love the guy, he loves berating me about my writing. But it's only because I know he wants me to keep moving forward with it. He doesn't want me to burn out.
It's like a reversal here, like where the typical situation is that the parents tell you, no, don't do it. Do what's gonna give you money, not what you love. Like the opposite seems to be happening here, which is a good thing. Um, I went through the opposite with my father, but other people supported me, especially when they saw the book completed. I mean, my wife enjoyed it. My wife was one of the first persons who read it.
I love it too. I love it too. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, you cannot be my wife, but but much appreciated, man. But no, yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I wanted to include, what I wanted to say was pretty much what Jesse was talking about. Having that inspiration. Having that and I mean inspiration in the sense of in like having people that actually want to see you do what you love could be a source, of strength, of willfulness, of not giving up on that dream. I mean, for me, writing is like a snowball. Like once the snowball starts running down the hill, it's gonna collect more snowball. Snowball effect.
The snowball effect.
The problem sometimes is getting the snowball rolling, or even making the snowball. Like as soon as, like with me, for example, if I have it there, let's say I have the snowball, and then I have my Xbox right in front of me. Sometimes I'll just drop the snowball backwards. So, but once I have the snowball rolling, once I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write. There's no stopping it. Till a full avalanche, 7 hours later, when I have time, of course. But yeah, this and other things we're gonna touch upon because this is just a little intro. Now I feel like speaking about it. We came into this with a little fear, and I want to spend 10 hours the whole night here. But well, this is just an intro, and I guess I'm gonna save the best for later.
Yeah, of course. We're hoping to eventually, be able to. We're just starting off, so we're getting over our a small fear about speaking into the microphone because I've never done that, even though I've been wanting to do that for a long time. But at the same time, this is our first episode. Like eventually we'll come out with some cheesy intro and some cheesy going out line. But for now,
Probably a cheesy melody intro.
perhaps
I always wanted
exactly,
that.
exactly. Well, eventually, hopefully, we get enough promotion out there so that people will tune in, and I mean, we'll put it out there. I don't know which format we're gonna use yet, but eventually, I know that we're gonna start hopefully doing more episodes as our quote unquote seasons go on.
Yeah, I mean, I keep calling them seasons, but we're just gonna record whenever we can. Hopefully every weekend, once every weekend. That's my plan.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But
I mean, if I wasn't for me personally, if I wasn't stuck at a soul sucking job, I'd be able to get some more motivation. But because this was gonna be my year, man. I told myself my New Year's resolution was gonna be to write at least a couple of chapters every month. Especially because I wish I didn't have that many going on like projects going on because it's just as a writer that you start thinking about one idea and then another idea pops into your mind and it slowly starts edging out the other idea. But you're like, no, 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 I can't stop thinking about that first idea. So now you have two ideas back to back. And then as you keep thinking about these other ideas, another idea pops in there and it just tries to edge out the other ones. But you're like, no, 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 I cannot stop thinking about the other two. So now you have three, and so on and so forth. And eventually they just keep piling on and piling on. And I told myself, I'm going to write at least a chapter per at least maybe a chapter per week of every single idea that I have out there. But if I wasn't stuck at a soul sucking job,
No,
I think
and
it'd be easier.
yeah, and that's exactly what these podcasts are. Uh, you touched on a good point. Sometimes it's not even about the time. It's not even about not having time because you can write 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 minute, whatever every day. But there are jobs out there, there are certain things in life out there that you get out and you don't even want to look at the screen. You don't even want, it becomes a task. It becomes tedious because your mind is already flustered with so many things. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's impossible either. But you know that writing, I kept saying a little while ago that it's possible to, what's more important, this or that or whatnot. But sometimes writing is just, you cannot just sit down every day and, oh, I want to write. There's such things as writer's block, which I think it's too cliche of a topic, but we might touch it on a new light or something later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's
Especially because like the whole writer's block and stuff. It does suck, and you just have to keep powering through it. And some of the episodes might be might get a little not dark in that sense of the word, but eventually our personality or personal life will come into touch with these subjects. Maybe you identify with a character or you identify with a topic, and you just but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun with these little recording sessions.
yeah, yeah, no, and I think part of what you said, I mean, about getting personal, I think this is part of what it is because, like we said, we're not professionals. We're not here giving a class. I mean, okay, today if you open your book to chapter 9, characters will know.
Yeah, there's
We're
not gonna be
just
any homework.
exactly. There's not gonna be any homework. Um, well, you do have one huge homework what you can do. Just come visit us if you're here in the area. Once again, I want to repeat it. Come visit us and join it. It's fun. I'm having fun as it is. But anyways, I'm getting a little too excited. Going
Me
back
too.
to
Me
the
too. I'm a huge grin on my face because this is awesome.
yeah, it is also. Hell, what if we just forget about writing and become like podcasters? No, I'm just kidding.
Right, we'll have our own little radio show on
On the,
Sirius FM.
like, oh, that'd be awesome. But
No, they don't sponsor us or anything. We don't have any sponsors. If you want to sponsor us or find us a sponsor, hey, that we would welcome you with open arms.
imagine a sponsorship on an intro. How good that
Right?
But yeah, going back to the whole thing, what I was trying to explain before we got a little too excited. This is exactly what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be personal. It's gonna be personal, and that entails we're not going to make you uncomfortable either. That just entails we're gonna try to relate our personal life, our personal experiences as the amateurs that we are right now, into this podcast, into writing, because I know that you, the listener out there, are not are not a robot, a machine. You also have feelings. You also have emotions. So we hope that that all those experiences can connect and relate to something that you might be going through, something that you went, and further help you develop your writing. I don't know if we should cut it short or.
Well, yeah, I was thinking, we don't want to run it too long so that people aren't bored, especially because it's just an intro episode. But like I said, any feedback, any creative criticism you would have for us, this is the very first episode for our little radio show. Hopefully, uh, hopefully we'll record like Nicholas was saying, like every week, every other weekend, or every weekend we'll pump out another episode. And like I said, hopefully we'll have fun.
Yes, we will. We'll definitely have fun, and well, we're gonna discuss the topic. We're gonna see what we can hit you with on our official first episode. And for now, just stay tuned, and maybe on the weekend, probably Saturday or Sunday when we have the new one out. Well, this has been fun. I'm Nicolas Trevino.
I'm Jesse Martinez.
You all have a wonderful weekend.